A quiet afternoon takes an unexpected turn when a black teenager is confronted by a stranger accusing him of wrongdoing. The young man, calm but confused, insists he's done nothing wrong, but the stranger's anger only grows. A crowd begins to gather, and the tension in the air is undeniable. Whispers ripple through the onlookers. Who is this boy? And what's really happening? Just when it seems the situation might spiral out of control, a car pulls up, and out steps a powerful figure, the teenager's mother, who also happens to be the town's mayor. With grace and determination, she walks straight into the confrontation, ready to stand up for her son and expose the truth. What happens next will leave everyone stunned. Stick around, because this is a story about courage, justice, and a mother's love that changes everything. The mayor strides toward the scene, her presence commanding attention. People in the crowd murmur, recognizing her, but the stranger remains locked in his accusations, ignoring the shift in atmosphere. The teenager stands firm, his voice steady but edged with frustration as he continues to defend himself. "I didn't do anything," he repeats, but the man won't listen, pointing fingers and raising his voice louder. The mayor's face is calm, but her eyes show a mix of concern and quiet fury. "What's going on here?" she asks, her tone firm but measured. The stranger turns, surprised, and hesitates when he realizes who he's speaking to. Still, he doubles down, claiming the boy was involved in something suspicious, offering no real proof. The mayor listens carefully, her son by her side, but as the story unravels, it becomes clear something isn't adding up. What's this man really hiding? The crowd grows restless as the mayor turns her attention to the stranger. "What exactly did you see him do?" she asks pointedly, her calm demeanor masking the anger simmering beneath. The man fumbles with his words, glancing at the people around him as if searching for validation. He mentions something vague about suspicious behavior, but offers no real evidence. The teenager looks at his mother, his expression a mix of frustration and hurt. "Mom, I was just waiting for my friend." "That's it," he says, his voice steady but tinged with disbelief at the situation. The mayor places a reassuring hand on his shoulder but doesn't look away from the man. From the edges of the crowd, a voice speaks up, a witness who saw the boy moments earlier. Their account directly contradicts the stranger's accusations, raising even more questions. Why was this man so quick to assume the worst? What is he really trying to achieve? The crowd's whispers grow louder as more people start questioning the stranger's claims. The mayor's steady gaze remains locked on him, her silence urging him to explain himself. He shifts uneasily, his earlier confidence now fading. He was lurking around like he didn't belong here. The man finally mutters, his tone defensive. The mayor's eyebrows raise slightly. "Didn't belong? And what exactly does that mean?" she asks, her voice sharp enough to cut through the tension. The teenager clenches his fists, his emotions barely contained. "I was standing on a public sidewalk, waiting for my friend," he says, his frustration finally spilling over. "You didn't even ask, you just assumed." The mayor steps closer to the man, her voice calm but filled with authority. "You accused my son based on nothing more than how he looked. That's unacceptable," the man stammers, but before he can respond, another voice cuts through the crowd. "I saw everything." All eyes turn to the speaker, a middle-aged woman holding a phone, recording the entire scene. "He's telling the truth," she says firmly, pointing to the teenager. "This man's been harassing people all day." The air grows thick with tension as everyone waits to see what will happen next. The crowd's attention shifts sharply to a woman with the phone. Her steady voice adds a new layer to the unfolding drama. "I saw him pacing back and forth earlier, looking for someone to confront," she continues, her words slicing through the stranger's weak defenses. The man's face turns red, and he starts to protest, but the mayor raises her hand, stopping him mid-sentence. "Is that true?" she asks firmly, her eyes narrowing. The stranger hesitates, his confidence crumbling as more people begin to speak up. Another bystander chimes in, "Yeah, I saw him too. He was arguing with someone else earlier. The stranger starts to backpedal, mumbling excuses, but the mayor doesn't let up. So you've been targeting people all day, she says, her tone sharp. And now you decided to single out my son. The tension in the air thickens as the man fumbles for words. But just as the crowd begins to turn fully against him, a startling revelation emerges. A man in a uniform steps forward from the edge of the group. I know this guy, he says, his voice low but firm. He's been reported before for pulling stunts like this. Gasps ripple through the crowd as everyone processes the new information. The stakes have just been raised, and now it's clear that this isn't just a random encounter, it's part of a bigger pattern. What's this man really up to, and how deep does his behavior go? The mayor's expression hardens, and it's clear she won't stop until she gets to the truth. The crowd is silent as the uniformed man steps closer, his words cutting through the tension. This isn't the first time he's done this, he says, his gaze fixed on the stranger. We've had complaints about him causing trouble and targeting people unfairly. The stranger's face pales, and his bravado crumbles entirely. The mayor seizes the moment. You've been using fear and accusations to intimidate people, haven't you? She asks, her voice steady but unyielding. The man stammers, but there's no escaping the weight of the evidence against him. The woman with the phone holds it up again. This is all recorded, she says firmly. It's time people see the truth. The stranger tries to leave, but the uniformed man steps in front of him. Not so fast, he says. We'll need to have a word with the authorities about this. A murmur of approval spreads through the crowd as they realize justice might finally be served. Just as the mayor turns to comfort her son, a soft voice from the back of the group calls out, "Wait." Everyone looks as a teenager steps forward, one who had been quietly watching the whole time. "You tried this with me yesterday," the boy says, his voice shaking. "But I didn't know who to tell." The mayor's eyes soften as she realizes the full scope of the man's actions. Turning back to the crowd, she speaks with conviction. "This ends today," she says. "Not just for my son, but for everyone he's hurt." The audience watches as the man is escorted away, knowing they'd just witnessed the power of community, truth, and a mother's unwavering determination to protect her child. As the man is taken away, a sense of relief washes over the crowd. The mayor turns to her son, pulling him into a hug. "I'm so proud of you for standing your ground," she says softly. The teenager nods, his earlier frustration replaced by gratitude for his mother's unwavering support. The bystanders slowly begin to disperse, some stopping to thank the mayor for her quick action. The woman with the phone smiles at the boy. "You didn't deserve any of this," she says, "but you handled it with strength." Walking back to their car, the mayor and her son reflect on what just happened. "You shouldn't have to fight battles like this," she says. "But when you do, remember you're not alone." As they drive away, the teenager glances out the window, his heart a little heavier, but his resolve stronger. Together, they prove that truth and courage can rise above injustice, leaving an impact far beyond that single moment.